Colors, themes. Well, light mode, dark mode. I need darker. This is not dark. I need lighter. As a Flutter developer, we usually deal with theming in our applications. Well, maybe you have a design system and you want to implement your theming, your brand theming, and maybe the color palette for the branding of your company. Whatever you have, Flex Color Scheme can help you. I sat with the author of Flex Color Scheme, Mike Rydstrom, and we talked about Flutter theming and how I can leverage his package into my application and properly implement a Flutter theming and different colors, especially those pre-built ones which he has made in that package in my application. I'm so glad to have you in one of these episodes and talking about theming. Actually, theming is an important topic when it comes to Flutter applications. And I'm so glad that I could invite you for this show to talk about theming and your package, which is an awesome one when it comes to theming. Do you want to introduce yourself and talk about your package a bit?
Yes, thanks, Mahid, and it's a real pleasure to be here. And yeah, I'm probably reasonably known on Twitter among Flutter enthusiasts. At least I've been active for around 2 years on Twitter and tweeting about Flutter and doing a lot of desktop development. And one of the early things that sort of challenged me when I was working with Flutter was theming, and I started doing sort of a lot of experimentation with it, and I noticed I'm always repeating myself and doing things in it, and so I put quite a bit of time and effort into learning the details of how you theme your application the proper way. And as I've been doing that, I've also been noticing that a lot of people don't really theme their Flutter applications properly, because if you do, it's quite astonishing what you can do, and all the teams, everything usually just falls into place, and the teams animate, everything works really smoothly. So in order to help myself not repeat it myself, and then I thought, okay, let's make this into a package that will help people to do some of the more advanced theming topics. And I've also been using this as a way to show a lot of different color options and theming for an application. In this Flex color scheme package that I made, there is 32 different color schemes. That is the light and dark color schemes that you can just pick and choose from. I'm not saying that these are perfect for everybody, but they provide a starting point, inspiration, and you can copy and mix colors from them as you like and you go ahead. But what I have found that is really nice is that you can also in development mode use them as a developer. Just pick and choose, see what you like if you have your freedom of choice. Sometimes with customers, you can offer them as options and say, hey, you haven't settled on your color theme and scheme. Here is a little bit of choices that you can see what you like, and we can go from there. So that is something I've been doing with it also. This list that I have up here is just a bunch of things that the color scheming does. It's not a very complicated package as such. You can easily do it yourself, these kind of themings as well, but it's a little bit tedious. So one of the key things that I already mentioned to show a lot of different themes, but when you move into web and desktop, another important aspect is something often called sort of color branding, surface branding of a color. You have your primary and secondary colors, but then you put a hint of that into your background colors at different strength levels. This capability is built into Flex color scheme, and you can sort of choose the strength of this color branding from your primary color also. And that is quite a nice feature. I will show it briefly soon as well. And then everybody always talk about the up bar. Should it be, like iOS style, just white, just black, or should it be colored like in material theming, etc.? This allows you to quickly just pick and choose different theme option for your app bar without having to sort of theme it everywhere otherwise. And a new one that I did was a quick swap of primary and secondary colors in your theme, so that you can sort of swap them around and have them the other way. This is not all the themes don't work so well with that. But sometimes if you have a light scheme and then you go to the dark scheme, it might work to sort of swap the primary and secondary color. It might give sort of a nice twist on the dark theme. Other things that is here also is a lot of convenience things. Instead of completely defining all the colors in a color scheme, you can just pick one color and say, okay, make sort of toned options for the other colors. Your variant, your secondary and secondary variant, those get computed for you from the selected color. And you can even take it one step further and say, okay, I want a dark theme that matches this. That would be sort of a more desaturated color set of that primary color. So this you can do sort of really easy and quickly. Another thing is standard dark mode in Flutter and material design is not really dark. If you want to go even darker and black, there is also a true black mode that you can select for dark mode that makes it even darker. And then there is a bunch of helpers for the system navigation bar in Android, so that you can make it follow the color scheme. You can have it so that it uses the surface branding that you put, or it can just be plain dark and light, of course. But the important part is that you make it follow the color scheme. I see a lot of Flutter applications, when you run them on an old Android version, the system navigation bar at the bottom doesn't change color with your light and dark, or doesn't follow your color scheme. You can easily do that, but you need to sort of usually apply an annotated region in Flutter to do that, and not a lot of Android Flutter developers are aware of that. There's also sort of there's also a few grievances in the new thing, of course, that Google is going with the Flutter theming is to start theming, make your theme data from use that sort of factory constructor instead of the standard one, and you create it from a color scheme. So that gives you all the correct colors for your widgets and all that. But there are a few gaps in there that they have never addressed and fixed properly. So Flex Color Scheme takes care of that as well.
Interesting. So, Mike, your package, so the Flex Color Scheme, is it working on all platforms, or is it just
all platforms? For sure, it's all platforms. Web, desktop,
fantastic,
anything.
Ah, that's cool. That's cool. So as long as you're using, as long as we are using Material app, so and then we are good to go.
Material
right?
app, yes, we're good to go. And I've been and the test I also sort of for the package. This is pretty well tested. It's at 99.75% testing level, and I have automated a build chain. So when I release a new version, the demo apps gets published automatically as well. And this thing. So it contains some examples for that. If somebody is interested in GitHub sort of CI/CD, you can look at that as well.
Sure, I will definitely put the link below or in the show notes or the comment everywhere. So don't worry about the links to the Git. So Mike, this is absolutely fantastic. I mean, this comes with a lot of pre-compiled, let's say, or pre-built color schemes. So if I want to create my own custom one, so is that also possible to do that?
Absolutely. And the examples show how to do that as well. And also these examples includes a few sort of extra added ones as well. You can see this one here called Flexfold Default and Custom Colors and Image Base. These are sort of extra that were custom made for this application, whereas everything that comes after this in this example, it includes also the Flutter default, the material guideline default theme, plus the Flutter material high contrast. But then you have, so it's only 30 new ones, okay. But then it starts with all the new ones that you see here that are sort of predefined, and they have their own dark version of it that is hand tuned. But it's I want to show you something that you can do.
Because Mike, in many companies, at least there are like probably design system or some kind of like coloring, palettes or stuff like that, which is like organizational, branding and stuff. So this is absolutely possible to do that with your package, right? So
yes, and I'm doing that as well in the example, showing you how to sort of use the built-in schemes, how to sort of add make your own scheme of it that you're using, and how to mix that and make a new list with your custom schemes plus how many you want to use and % of the built-in ones. And if somebody wants to contribute and say, hey, I have this really nice, beautiful color scheme, just send me a PR and let's add it to this sort of list of
This is
built-in
actually
ones.
my question. This is my question right now. If somebody wants to contribute, how can they go and contribute? Can you show us like where to start, or where is the repo, or which file they
Yeah.
should look into first and stuff like that? Can you just guide us a bit?
So yes, Flex Color Scheme is on GitHub. If anybody wants to sort of contribute, just let's go open the repo. Did it take it? Okay.
First thing first, it's null safe compatible, right? So
it's null self-compatible, yes. It's been pretty much since null safety was launched, and I'm also constantly tracking the master channel in Flutter to see sort of and prepare for the upcoming changes. I'm not putting them sort of into the live released version until they are on stable channel, but I might release a sort of development preview because there's a lot of new interesting features that are coming up to teams. And I do anticipate that Material U will result in some changes to color scheme classes in Flutter maybe, or something like that, because it seems when you look at Material U design and the way they extract the colors in that there are more sort of shades involved that you have in a color scheme class in Flutter at the moment, or in design. So there might be that they are introducing a little bit more shades in there. I found some sort of indications for that also in some other repos. But okay, anyway, read Mike is my GitHub handle, and of course you can find from pub.dev you find the repo, so it's easy to find that way.
all right, Mike. So this was fantastic so far. So now I actually have an app, and I thought that why not adding like different theme to my app?
Sure, sounds like a plan.
For sure, yeah, for sure, your package is one of the best out there. So I'm gonna actually ask you to join me for pair programming to my VS Code and help me to implement this package or your package to my application. This is a very simple app. When I click, it just doesn't do much. It just goes to one screen and I can come back to a logout and login page.
I have a coffee. I have a coffee espresso team. I think you will need that one.
Oh, fun. Let's actually implement that. Let's actually implement that. So, as far as I understood, the first thing I need to do is first of all, I need to add the package to my Puppet YAML file, right?
Yeah,
so
for
let's
sure.
do that first. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and that was
Flex Color Scheme.
Flex Color Scheme and version. I think the latest. Let's keep it 3, right?
3.01 is the latest one.
Here we go. It's the latest one. All right. So it's getting everything there. And then let's close this. So first thing first, I assume that I need to import this package, let's say, to my...
Yeah. You won't, if you have this get team function there where you are actually returning the team data, we don't actually need to import it here in this main file at all. We just need to sort of import it there in your function where you are making your team data. It can return it from there as well.
So perfect. So then here is the theming part in my application. So then I'm gonna go to my function where I'm actually doing theming over there, right?
Yeah. And we might wanna add then also sort of a dark theme to this, because now you are theming with just sort of the light theme mode there. So you might want to add a separate dark theme. But let's finish the light theme first and add the dark theme later. It's simple enough.
Actually, let's actually remove this function that I have and then do everything here for just make it simple. So then I will import it first. Here is the import. And then I'm going to go ahead and have the flex color scheme, right? So here on this, I can call different
Yeah, this has a number. This has a number of methods, but now when you're making the light theme, just put sort of that you want to use the light factory. I mean, it comes with sort of its default constructor, but it has two factories called light and dark.
Different factory.
So to help you make really
so
pre-configured factories. You can use flex color scheme in its raw mode with its default constructor, but that is for a lot of sort of customization you don't maybe want to do sort of, because then it has its sort of convenience constructor as well. And what you want to do with the light one is just as a simple first step would probably be just to say that you want this to sort of get the one of the color schemes, one of the built-in ones. There is 32 built-in color schemes, and you probably want to sort of just test it out with one of them to begin with. And then you would just in the light scheme constructor use the property scheme, and then we use an enum value to select one of them.
Okay, sure.
And if you everything there is, by the way, 100% API documentation properties in the package, so it's fully documented, all the properties and all the classes and everything that you can want to drill into.
All right, very good. So then, actually, Mike, so you have two factory. You said you have a light factory and you have a dark factory, right?
Yeah. And of course, the light one you would use with your team, and the dark team you would use the dark one for it.
Okay, so here then I can say dark team and flex color scheme dot dark.
Yeah, and then there's one thing you need to select, of course, the scheme you want to use, because you have 32 ones to choose from. So that will be the first choice to do, to sort of look into what scheme we want to do.
Okay, like here I have a property like scheme, so I can now choose the flex scheme, right?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. I have all of those here.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And there is one called Espresso. I thought that one would fit your coffee app.
Yeah, sure.
And you can do this. You can do the same scheme for your dark one. You don't have to use the same scheme for your dark scheme, but usually you would. They are not exactly the same colors when you do that. You get sort of less saturated color scheme for your dark mode.
Oh, that's a good one.
And then what you need to do still here, you can see you still have an error here. That's because this is just a flex color scheme is just a class to sort of select the team. Then it has sort of a method called toTeam. Then it will return your team.
Okay.
So you just go to
Here
team.
We go.
To team, yes.
Oh yeah, I see.
And that will sort of use a lot of built-in scheming. Oh, you have a spelling error there in the a few ones. Also in flex color scheme.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's
Here we go.
Okay, that's
all right.
This is sort of the minimum thing you would do to sort of to get started. That's it. Now you have these teams, and if you rebuild this, you will get another sort of little bit team on your app here. And of course now you don't have your fonts and stuff like that, but you will see some nuance differences on this one.
Yeah, sure. That's exactly correct. But now let's actually you just want to actually check the dark mode of it. So I don't want to deal with.
Yeah, then of course you can just change up. You have the dark mode team mode system. You should just go dark mode dark there instead for your. No. Keep that. Mahid, you are doing this sort of mistake here with the team mode system. Just go put that into dark. Then you switch your app there to the dark to use the dark mode. One of the things that I see very few people actually using correctly when we talk about theming is that. You really need to provide a separate team for the team, that is the light mode, and a dark team, that is the dark team. That was not the way Flutter started, because it didn't have a dedicated mode for providing your dark team. So people did it through the brightness adjustment in the team. You use just team and then you change brightness, but that's not the correct way of doing it anymore. You really need to use because when you are using this way, now when you change the team mode, you have your team mode system above. So you can, of course,
Exactly.
you can switch with the switch in your operating system in Android, but you can just go dark there instead now if you want to force it to go use the dark
Exactly.
theme. So that one always, when the theme mode says system, that means that it will choose theme if your system mode is light, and dark theme if your system mode is dark. So now you get this, and I can see you haven't used themes when you have made your button
No.
there. And this is
Exactly. That's
one of the things that I'm always sort of a big proponent of, that tell people use themes whenever you design your custom widgets. Base your custom widget on your color scheme. If you do that, if you use your theme of context color scheme to even if you're making custom components, and you base everything off that, then when you are doing proper theming, then you also get that scheme. By the way, now I see you're using this is like an SVG. Is this an Andro image, or where did it, the SVG
yeah.
image?
This is an SVG. Yes.
Yeah, but is it from Andro? You know, this public library called Andro, or is it a custom one?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's Andro, I think.
because I have a way also of I showed that a little bit. You can theme them in code, this Andro images as well. So I have sort of made a setup so that when you change your theme, the Andro background color changes also with the theme.
Oh, that's fantastic. Let's actually. Okay, first of all, let's fix this. Let's fix this button because I definitely didn't use the theme here, so I have a custom color here.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
And
Here
that
the
is, you have
custom
something
color.
called dark brown there, and that for the side, etc. And this is the border side. You should probably, and where is your filling of the dark? You have the text button.
I can remove.
We can go to the button styling if you wanna do, but this whole button style is something you should do as a part of your theme when you are building the theme data.
Exactly.
And
That's a very good point. So
but
it's actually good for everyone who is watching right now. So if you do these type of things that I did right now, you're gonna get to this problem. I
yeah.
did it deliberately,
Yeah.
so I wanted to show how it works.
Yeah, actually, now you see when you removed it, you just have the stadium border. It has sort of some kind of dark. I don't know what button style you used for this one, but it's the material state text. Is it just a standard button? If you,
I think it's the standard button.
yeah,
Yes.
if you
Text button.
change this to one that has some background to the raised, what is it called now again? The raised button. You can just change the button just to try it. Flat button. Was it called
flat button turns
the raised button, or was it called nowadays? Let me see. I always forget since they changed them also. Is it raised button? No, that's the that's the
we can check. We can check in here in the code. So it's now
focused elevation raised
elevated
button. Yes, that's the one now.
Here we
So
go.
just change it to elevated button, and it should get also some kind of theme applied to it then, because that has. And then you have another error here. That's of course the text style where you're using some text color for it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't actually need that if you have it now, since you are using a theme on it. You don't need it. It will get it anyway.
Exactly.
And now you got sort of this coffee cream little bit something, and it's using also the right style for the text that has the right contrast.
Yeah, sure. Let's actually now turn to the light version and see how it looks. Now I'm gonna change it to light. Okay, it's a very good point. So first of all, if you're going to do the theming, so from you, so stick to the theming. Do not add any custom styling, right?
Yeah.
So
always do it in the theme. You can use the colors, of course, but always use the colors from theme of context.color scheme, and there you have your primary variant, secondary variant. This is an area where I think that we will see maybe some more colors in there, so that you will have perhaps a primary light and a primary dark. I've seen some indication that might be coming up as a change in Flutter, but I'm not sure if they're going to do it or not, or how they will do the material.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Mike, now I have a button here, and my button is black. So if I want to hook, if I want to change this color in this Espresso, like color, can I do that here? Can I customize it?
Yes, you can make a total sort of customized flex color, but then you would make that via the colors property and not use the built-in schemes, and then you can get them for that. But this is if you want to have if you want to do sort of a lot of sort of themes colors that are one-off, but if you want to have this as a black button, then you need to have something with a, this is a primary colored button now. You could also make it a primary variant or secondary or that. If you if you want to sort of, if you take a look at the color scheme, what this one actually contains. If you click on the espresso, let's go in and look at the code a little bit here.
Let's do that. Here we go. It's espresso here.
Yeah, it's just one of the colors there, and that's gonna pick up one of the colors. If we go,
is it the color here? So the flex color class.
Yeah, that contains a lot of the color definitions. If you go down, just scroll down to you get to the colors. Just scroll down a lot. There's a lot of colors in here, like you might imagine. Just or search for this espresso in here. You will find more.
Espresso, like as a class.
Yeah, just espresso as a name here. Now you can see where we find it. It's not so many of it. You will find it around there. There you have.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Here you have. So there you find it has a name and it has a flex scheme color, etc. And you can totally build your own sort of color data. You can do it directly from just making a flex scheme color like you see here with the primary variant, secondary, and app bar and error colors.
I see.
You can use, when you are using the factories, when you make your own custom color, you only have to specify actually the primary, and all the other ones will get computed for you if you don't want to specify this many colors. But this is when you make your own custom ones, you can of course just start by this, copy the constants that are used by this one, and then you modify it instead.
Okay. Can I just now, for example, let's have an example. Can I just copy this flex scheme theme, for example? And maybe here I define maybe here I define another theme, let's say custom theme. Let's say a custom theme. And then in custom themes, I just paste all of this, and then I can customize it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like name, I can put anything, for example. All right, I see. So this is the way that now we are creating custom theme. Then at the end, I can pass this custom theme to my theming, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So I have a question here then right now. This is coming with dark and light. So let's say I created this theme right now, custom theme. So if I come here, should I pass this custom theme to both of these, dark and light?
Yeah, you actually pass the one called. Let me show you some example of it. Grab that as.
Or do you think that I should create like a custom class and hold light and dark, and then maybe define my flex scheme data or flex, let's say it's not data actually, flex scheme color for both of them, like a factory as you created for flex scheme. Which way do you think is better for creating this custom theme?
For doing something like this, you could do something like this, for instance.
Okay. Yeah.
So you don't need that name and things like that. That is just something that is used in descriptions for pop-up. What you can do is just define the flex scheme color data like this, and
I see.
And then if we go into, let's say you don't wanna use this one, flex schemes color lights, then here instead of this one, you would just go colors and use this flex scheme light. I think it was there instead. Now you would be using this one instead. Let's see, did it actually? Oh, yeah, we have all your stuff here. Let me just comment that away.
So you actually used, no, you haven't used that yet. Oh, you used it.
Yeah, I use that. That is because now there is two ways. If you're just using a single one like this, like a colors, then you can just pass in the scheme colors like this. And now you see you got a different scheme, and not using any of the pre-built ones that are in. The sort of scheme is a convenience factor. You could also, there is also a list of this scheme, all these schemes where you could use the enum as the index for it, etc., and a map, and just get it that way. That's what I'm doing when I'm using the option that lets you pick 32 different ones. Then I just do a list with an index, and I sort of put these custom ones in my list, plus the ones that are I spread collect, use the spread operator to spread the ones that are already built as a constant list already exist in the package, and then you insert as many as you want of them there as well. Mm-hmm. But this way you can see now we made a scheme, and if you want to do this, because now we are using the light, we can do something like this as well. Let's not define this primary and this secondary variant.
But then a quick question here. So technically, the scheme that you created are actually built with this flex scheme color. So if I define my colors, then I'm good to go. So I don't need to do I don't need to create like a scheme data.
No, you don't need to create that scheme data. These colors are good to go for that. So if you wanna be lazy, you can do stuff like this. We don't need that. No, we don't need that. We don't need this, and we don't need this.
Yeah,
and now I'm just defining one color. But if you start looking into it, you will see that it still has color definitions for the secondary and secondary variant, etc. It's just computing them all from this single color you made as different shades from it. But for that you have to use this factory here again. When you are using just the raw constructor for the flex scheme color, then you need to provide all the properties. This is like a little bit, there is in Flutter also this kind of factory constructors that make it more convenient for you. If I go here, let's take this variant with us, because at least then we get a secondary color that's defined, and then I'm going to do something here also. Here we are using this one, and I'm going to do something here also, sort of be really lazy here now. And then we're going to say on the dark one, you can go, and this can go to dark, should be able to do that. So, and we're not going to have this even dark one here at all, just to show now, and then we'll go dark here and switch again.
That's
so now
neat.
Now what I'm doing, I'm just defining two colors and still getting a dark theme computed from the light theme, and without having to sort of define these desaturated colors.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Now, actually, I started thinking about your package seriously. So it actually helps to create these themings very easily, and also very fast. Yeah. So it's very, very nice. Mike, for the last tip of this session, if you want to give us one cool feature of your package, these are all are great, but one thing that you really like one thing that you did and you really like. Yeah. Which one is that?
It's really, for me, since I'm dealing a lot with larger surfaces like web apps and desktop apps. So for me, it's really the feature. We didn't look here in the live coding. We could simply add it also, but it's the surface branding that we do about it as well. And this was really just the basic one. If we switch this, it's a little bit hard to see in your app, but if we go to light mode, light here, and then we go in here, and we're gonna add one more property here. Now this is going to add a hint of this primary colors into surface colors in your application. You won't be able to see it so much, but if is there any dialogue or anything like that in this application where you
We do have.
might actually see it a little bit, or any place where there is surface color used that you haven't overridden with something like surface or background color.
No, actually, I don't.
Yeah.
But I understand what you say.
The,
That's very cool.
this what is does is it adds a hint of these primary colors into these surface colors that you might see on side menus, or like in if you have a drawer that would be using this color also, and
Yeah,
get a
sure.
hint of this purple color that we are using now, which is probably still not such a good fit for this espresso app, but we can switch it back to the espresso color scheme as well.
Yeah,
As well.
sure.
But that is
That's
that is really, and and for somebody that wants to get started with this theming and learning more about it, the package comes with a very extensive tutorial. It walks you through a demo app, all the 5 different demo applications, and it shows you how to do the theming without any state management, in a very simple way, just doing it with callbacks, etc., from a main app. And those 5 demos are available on web as live examples, and you can see their code there and try it out. It's really worthwhile going through them if you want to learn more about theming in general and what you can do. You can add visual density there also. We have I have a sort of, there is a flex visual density as well. If you want to look at the visual, there's a built-in helper for visual
what
density.
what does this do? Visual density.
Visual density, that's actually a feature that exists already in Flutter itself, has visual density in theme data. What it does is, when you're running your application in web or desktop mode, it decreases the spacing on the material widgets, so they become more compact.
Oh, I see.
There is a built-in sort of sort of visual density that is adaptive, called the visual density adaptive or something like that in Flutter. I made a new one that is called comfortable, simply because I noticed that when you are running on a desktop with touch interface, or on a computer with a browser with a touch interface, that default one becomes quite sort of compact. So this one instead keeps the standard for Android, iOS, and Fuchsia, but when you go to Linux and web and desktop, it returns something called comfortable, which is a little bit less dense than the standard Flutter adaptive one. So it's still denser, but not as dense, making it more easy to use touch when you are on a web interface or on a desktop that has a touch screen.
This is fantastic. This is mind blowing. Fantastic job. Great job, Mike. Thank
Thanks,
you
Mahid.
for providing this great package for the community. I really enjoyed this. Actually, I never used any package for theming, and this is the first time I'm thinking that maybe I should reconsider that. Like, I should probably use this package
Yeah.
for theming. It makes it so easier for implementing theming. I really appreciate you, Mike,
Thanks, Mahid.
being in the She's Show, talking about your package inside out. I'm sure there are lots of things that we couldn't cover in this show.
Yeah,
But
this is
for
scratching the
sure,
surface, but get started.
absolutely.
And there is other cool thing that you asked. The one cool thing, but if you're an Android developer, the cool thing that this package shows you also how to theme the system navigation bar. And with the new feature that just landed in master, you will be able to make them transparent as well. It was possible before, but you needed to do some Android hacks to do it before. But now it should be possible to do it without. And I will add that as in an upcoming update as well, so you can do it when it's actually hitting stable. But I will release that.
Perfect. I know that you actually built that, and you have a tweet about these transparent,
Yeah.
things. I will definitely add it to the video so everyone can see and can come to your tweet, and maybe everyone can follow you on Twitter, Mike.
Thanks.
And I
That
will
would be
put
great.
the link below.
Yeah. Welcome.
So
I'm active pretty much every day on Twitter, or at least something. But sometimes it's something useful, like a new release of the package, or I've also been quite active on reporting Flutter bugs and stuff on GitHub. So sort of they
Sure.
I'm infamous there probably already. So
Cool. Mike, thank you very much. Really appreciate joining us. And you have to promise you have to come back to this show once more
yeah,
and going
I will.
deeper to this package.
Yeah, let's do a deep dive and some advanced sort of
Sure.
study of it at some point. And I know people are asking for another package that I still haven't had time to work on. This is a little bit of a side gig to do packages like it is for most of us. It's sort of, but it's fun.
Sure.
I really enjoy it, and it's
really
fun.
fun.
It's fun, and I do hope that people want to have some great ideas for some new color schemes that they want to sort of contribute with, and just send me sort of a on the pub.dev you'll find the repo, and just open an issue with a, hey, I have this cool color scheme, could we add it to this, and sure, go right ahead. If you're not willing to contribute it as a direct code, just sort of give me the color values you would like to see, and we can add it. I can add them as well if they are cool and look nice.
Perfect. Then with that said, thank you very much, Mike, and see you next time then.
See you next time. Thanks, Mahit.
That was it, the pair programming with the author of package Flex color scheme. So if you have any package in your head and you want me to talk to the author of those packages on plugins and get them to the show and talk with them originally, let me know in the comment below or contact me directly via social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, or everywhere that you can find me.